Yeah, I still like that. Hello, how you doing? Sometimes you've just got to switch the camera on and get on with it, and it doesn't matter what's going on and all sorts. As soon as you switch the camera and start doing it, and it's like anything, as soon as you start doing it, it gets what's happening. Routers being set up, this is going on. I'll put you in the rack. What we're going to do today is, and I haven't got long, and I know this is going on, but I have to fit it around other things that are going on as well. What we're going to do today is we're going to make up the back door, and I'm going to show you how I plane the timber and joint the timber. There's some traditional, there's some bits my way. It's the best way I can do some of it. Stick with me. Let's get the kettle on. Do yourself a cuppa. Put me on pause for a minute, or save me for later. I don't mind. Oh, I've got to show you that. That happened this week because I've got students in doing work and I couldn't get on with that. So yeah, young students, because I have students with special educational needs, and this was all I had before, and it was a woody colour, and I've added that one. Thank you for bringing my cramps back, Stuart. So Stuart's brought my cramps back, and I've got some really long ones. Those are 6 footers. Those go quite low. And some odds and so's and so-and-so's that aren't particularly good but work. So yeah, we've got that done now, which feels quite nice because it makes me feel a little bit more organised, and as though I really do know what I'm doing. I do, but I'm just not as organised as I would love to be, and that's pressures of daily life and all sorts. Get the kettle on, catch you up in a minute. So I want to talk to you about getting the timber on the back flat. And if we look at some of these joints here, this is what we're doing. We're doing this. And look how flat this panel is. This big panel goes all the way around here. And yet the joints are great. There's a little bit of, I can just feel it's moved a bit, but that's okay. But the joints are great, but it stayed flat. That's the important thing. And there are things in here that they've done that will keep it flat. So let me show you something that you need to know. So figure one here. In orange, this is what a piece of wood looks like on the end. Those annual rings there, when that piece of wood dries out, it will move slowly or quickly, depending on how damp it is, towards the dotted line. So you get this curve. So you start out with a lovely flat piece of wood. Well, it might not be. You might already have something in it, but you can put a piece of wood through the planer. It's all about getting the moisture content down so that it's at equilibrium within the space. Once the moisture content is equilibrium with the space, what I do is I put a moisture meter in there. See what and it's generally in here. It's, I don't know, 8 or 9% moisture. 8 generally. So when the timber's down to 8% moisture. So this is important. When the timber's down to 8% moisture, so it's at equilibrium, you then put it to the thicknesser, or you plane it up, or whatever you're going to do, and then it will be stable at that. In the UK, it will be stable at that moisture content. That's great. So, I don't know whether you've ever been somewhere and you've walked on floorboards that have felt like this. I know my family have, because our hallway is like that. And that's because that's the way the boards are manufactured and done. When you're making pieces of wood, when you're jointing pieces of wood together, what you do is you alternate these. So that you've got one going under, one going over, one going under, one going over. So instead of having all these peaks and troughs, which it can break on, look at the joints breaking, instead of that, you've got joints that stay good, and you end up with a level surface. Yes, it's got the wobbles, but it returns back to level over the long term. Number 4. This is the next stage. If your joints aren't, so say you've controlled your piece of wood. If your joints aren't 90 degrees exactly to each other, so 90 on there, 90 on there, you'll have this. So if we say we're 89 on there and 89 on the other one there, then we end up with this, and we're not flat. So to get it flat, what you can do, what you're after obviously is that, number 7. But what you can do is you can plane at one angle, and so long as the other piece is at the same angle, you can joint them together. Now this is really important. This to me is, once you've nailed this and once you know what you're doing with this, you're in a position to create something and not have concern about it. Now I've made thin things, I've made trays and all sorts with 7 or 8 panels, and they're flat. And they're flat and there's no issue with them. And there's a way I do that. Mark, who comes on the workshops, Mark knows what I'm on about. He's doing something now in that same manner. So look, if you try and do that and you're just a fraction out, I mean, we know what planes can be like. It can be hard to do. You're only a fraction out, it's not going to stay level. Right, now we're going to come to this. So this is what I've been doing. So what I've got here, obviously, is my shooting board. And what you have to remember when you're doing this is you do one on the face and one on the back. So you've got to do the 2 pieces the right way. So let's make sure we know what we're doing. So this goes into here. As you can see, I've planed that and it's great. So that's the face. So the face side is down. What I need on the other piece, let me just sort this out. Easier if I explain it like this. What we need on the other piece is we need them referencing off the same surface, but we need, I'm going to say it's 89 degrees because I'm not going to say it's a perfect 90. We're just going to call it 89. So the 89 is down here, but for that to glue together perfectly, the 89 needs to be up there. So we've got the face down on that one, like that, and that's been planed. And then on this one, it will be face up. So I'm going to put you in the cramp, in there, and then we'll have a look. Right, are you on? Yeah, okay. So face down on that, you can see, yeah, face down on that, which means face up on this one. So I've marked that with face, and I've got the old varnished edge, and I've got a good edge here. So I'm just going to drop that on there. Now you could do this in the vise, and you could get a couple of pieces, sandwich them together, and plane them all in one go. But the shooting board, this is where the shooting board gets really good. This is another one of the reasons I made the shooting board. So I can put that onto there. This is oversized, by the way. This is too long, so that's fine. I don't have to worry about that. I can put that on there. I can put the play in there. I can push the, you can't see properly. Hang on a second, let me sort it out so you can see. Right there, yeah? Okay. So that's done. I can put this here, I can push the piece of wood against that. I'm not worried about whether it's square or not, but actually it is square, so I don't have to worry about it. So, in fact it isn't, it's that much out. Can you see that? It's a little bit, it's not far out. So let's put that there. Let's push that against there. It doesn't matter because those ends are going to be redone, so it really doesn't matter. So, I'm now pushing against the plane, I'm going to pull it back. And what I'm after is one nice straight through cut, right, face side. So now that side has to go down. So these two now should work incredibly well together. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. I mean, I hope this makes sense. And this is, it's not the reason I've put it off. I've had loads of other things going on. But this now, let's move that out of the way. So, can you see, come on phone. So, come on phone. There's a little bit of twist in it, but don't worry about that, a little bit of twist, it's no problem. Because this is going to be cramped together and cramped down at the same time, but there's something else going on in a minute. Right, see, so there's the joint, come on. Great. Now let's go to this. Can you see that little loose tenon there? No, you can't. Anyhow, there's a loose tenon there. What we're going to do is we're going to copy that loose tenon. So what I've done is I've put a slit in cutter in my router. Can you see it? There she is. I'm going to set her up. We'll set her up and we'll get that first one done. Right. Here's the next bit that you really need to know. If you're doing camera stuff, you need to know this. If you're doing any quality woodworking that you want to last, this thing has lasted over 100 and something years because it's quality. So let me show you something else. So let me show you what's going on. So this is going to be my inner panel, the dark panel there. So that's my inner panel, and this is my new piece of wood. And this is what we're going to have. We're going to have a groove in each piece, both set from the same surface, both set from that surface, so they both relate to each other and they're accurate to each other. Now, these are things that go in here are loose tongues, and they're really, I'm after 2mm. And 2mm's been awkward, and I've bought a cutter and all sorts, and I've been trying to sort out exactly how to do it. And I came across it yesterday. I've sussed it out. On some very good cameras, the piece that goes in there can be cut at 45 degrees. Now, this would be 15mm wide, and that would be 15mm wide too as well. Okay, but that is only 2mm thick, and it goes in there. And because it's cross grain at 45 degrees, you get so much strength from the grain going across, joining the grain going that way. So you've got a lovely plywood type thing going on inside this joint. So as well as being glued together fantastically, the faces perfectly aligned, we're going to have this loose tongue as well to perfectly hold it together. Now then, how do we do that? What I've done is I've got some plywood, and I've planed it down, and if you can see, I've got the grain going that way, and then when I turn it over, the grain's going the other way. So I could do that, but it would take so long to do, and if you're not set up for it, there's such a waste of wood there. But the old guys used to have a stock of it, they used to make it up, and they'd have plenty of it, and it would last for ages, and they would just make another batch of it. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of plywood with multi-layers, and let me grab another pen, and what I've done is I've got our 2mm out of that part there. So on one side I've got the grain going this way, and on the other side I've got the grain going that way, and I've got a very good glue joint in the middle of it. And I've seen this somewhere else, and I can't remember where I've seen it. Utilising the strength of the glue makes so much sense. So this now is 1.95 thick, and I've got a 2mm cutter in there. So what I'm going to do is I'll set you guys up back in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up to do the grooves in there, and then we'll see it. Then I can get on with that one, and then we can leave that to dry, and it can be clamped to a flat surface. So let's do this. Right, I want to show you the setup. So you've probably seen this little router thing I've got before. Basically what I've done is I've set a piece of MDF on the bottom to bring the mouth as close together as possible, so that the piece of wood, when it goes through, so this is going to cut a groove in the edge of the wood, and I've got this all cramped up. I've got some extraction there that will take all the dust and muck away. I haven't put a face thing on it. I'm not worried about it. It's only not taking much out. So I'm going to do a bit of that, and I'll show you these two in a sec. You don't want to listen to all the noise. You don't need all that. So I've done that one. It only takes a few seconds. There you go. You can see through there. I'm going to show you this one. Face down, that's all I've got to remember. The face is the reference. So, a bit noisy, sorry. And the old boys in the old camera places, they would have, you can see it's slightly offset. You remember on the drawing, this is about 1 millimetre thicker than the back of the door. So I'm not worried about that, I'll just take the sharp edge off. So that's it. So let's put those two together. So there it is. We've got the groove, the tongue of the groove, and I said it's a loose tongue. So yeah, it's loose. It's not super tight. Could have been a bit tighter. Not to worry. Got some very good glue going on it. So that's it now. And then these will get chopped off, and then I will plane that as a straight face and this one as a straight face and do the same again. That's why these are too long, because they're made for the long lengths. So I'm going to get on with that now. Now I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll glue this one together and I'll show you how I'll glue this one together. And if you see how it goes together, then you'll know what I'm doing, and then we'll come back in a bit or later on. So I've just put the two together, and as a check, I've pushed them together, and I can still remove, excuse me, I can still remove the loose tongue. We don't want that loose tongue putting any pressure on stopping these surfaces from jointing. Right, so time for a glue up. So let's get some glue all of that. I'm going to put quite a bit on here. I want the glue to, the tongue's a little bit loose. I want the glue to take up some of that slack. Here we go. And it's probably just going to ooze absolutely everywhere. Oh, it's not too bad actually. It's not too bad. You know what? I might put some more in. Let's go down here. Let's run it along the. Let's run the glue along the piece of ply. I might as well just cover it. There you go. Quite a bit there. Quite a bit on here. There you go. I'm just going to put a bit more back in there. And drop that in there. And just wobble its way down. Glue oozing out. That's fine. That's fine. I'd rather have too much glue than not enough. I'm going to use this little offcut to get it off that shoulder. Not all of it, just the excess that will be wasted. There you go. And then off this one. So can you see what I've done then? I've just left it up that corner, but I've taken it off this edge here. So what will happen is it'll ooze out of that corner and come flying up to the edge anyhow. So there we go. So now I can spread this. Spread that around. That's good. Drop some in the groove. Right, face. So again, I've got to make sure I'm the right way round. Drop it on. Doesn't want to go on. Come on. Oh, there you go. Glue oozing all over the place. That's great. Just give it a little rub. Let's tighten the vice up. Little rub, there you go, that's it. Scrape the excess off this face. Just put it on the corner of this bit of newspaper here. Don't want that excess just going all over the place. And this end, yeah. Plenty going out this end. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop it onto a piece of paper. Can you guys, I need to zoom out as well, so how do I do that? How's that? Is that right? Yeah. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, so I want a nice flat surface. the shooting board. And I'm just going to sort of rub joint the two together so that any air can come out. And make sure I'm just a little bit long there, I'm a little bit long with this one. And that is it, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to put some weight on those two. I've got a bit of stuff on them. I just want to put some weight on them and know that the faces are flush. And what I'm going to do is put the blocks on endways like that, put a bit of weight on them, and then put this one on there like that. I find these are really good. So those two, because they're at different heights. So because these two are different heights, there you go, job done. So now I can just go round it and just check that I'm happy with its position. I am, that's great. And just check this end. Oh, I think that's all right, that's pretty good. The face of this will get cleaned up, and that the face of this one will get some polish. So that's about it. That's all I'm going to do. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me. Please subscribe, like, share. We need the sharing. Videos aren't doing as well, but I've got things going on, and I'll let you know about it one of the days when things are a bit more sorted. So yeah, please like, comment, share, all the rest of the stuff. I'm going to carry on with this now. I'm going to leave that to dry for an hour, do the other end, and then I will leave that to dry for 24 hours, then do the long sides and get those done. Then we're ready to start looking at the door fitting in the aperture, which is great. So thanks for sticking with me, and we'll see you soon. So take it easy.